indigenous and black people. Okay. With the Seminoles, for instance, and the Creeks. Okay, let me tell you something about the Seminoles and the Creeks. The Seminole indigenous and the Creek indigenous, okay, they didn't get along. The Seminole, um, the Seminole indigenous, they did not want to let the white folks, the U.S. government, get the black escaped enslaved back, because when the Seminoles and the black enslaved people ran away together, they fought together. You see what I'm saying? They fought against the U.S. government. Everybody thinks about the Fugitive Slave Act, and they think about the first ones, right? Well, the ones that we normally know about, but a lot of people don't know about the battle that was taking place between the U.S. government and the Seminole, the full-blooded Seminoles, and the black Seminoles. And this is how black Seminoles came to be, because the Seminoles adopted the black Seminoles. Okay, and they did not want them to return to um, slavery with the white folks, so they fought. They had more than one battle, because I want to say, because they were pushing at this point in time, they were pushing the the United States government was pushing the Creek and the Seminole out. They wanted them to move west. They wanted to move further west, because they took over the whole South. Okay, they took over the whole South, and so especially down in Florida. Okay, so it was this big thing. It was this big thing, and so whenever black people wanted to escape slavery, they found refuge in the Seminoles, and the Seminoles was like, yeah, come on through. That's how it was. Now um, the Creek, and I spoke about them one time before too. The Creek also had black enslaved, but they would intermarry with their enslaved, and they also adopted them as Creek. So that's where they adopted them, whether half blood or full blooded black African American, right? They were adopted. The ones who had no bloodline, they were adopted. Okay, just like the Seminoles, they adopted them. Okay, if they didn't have any full blood, they were adopted. Okay, or either they were mixed. All right. So, but anyway, so the Creek, they were talking more with the white folk, right? And they were making up these treaties, but the Seminole didn't trust them, because they was like, And then they had this dude named Abraham, who was going the in between. Now Abraham was a black dude, right? He was a black dude, and he was a go between too. But the Seminoles ain't trust him neither. Seminoles was like, nah, cause we not gonna give up. We not gonna give up. Um, our At that point they were our black Seminoles, and that's that they meant that junk. They was like, we're not gonna give up our black Seminoles. So there was a battle. Oh yeah, and there were like 500 full-blooded Seminoles, but they said on record in the paper, in the story of it, there was like 2,500 black Seminoles. Oh yeah, and they was riding out. They was riding out. Now that was in the first battle, because they was trying to ask for the Carolinas. They were trying to the government in the Carolinas and stuff, because they wanted to own that territory. Um, they were like, nah, we gonna go get them. And they was like, no, y'all ain't. So they was fighting, because it was a battle. Then the second battle was over a lady. Okay, the second battle was over. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but it was Osceola. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but it starts with the O. Osceola. I want to say Osceola. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but he was Seminole, right? He was Seminole and white. Well, he led that war because they took his wife, who enslaved her in, I think it was the Carolinas or Georgia. Oh, and he went off. He led this massive. He went off to get his wife back. Oh, he went off. There was massive bloodshed. Oh yeah, it was massive. So that was one of the second. That was one of the seconds. So yeah, they took his wife and they enslaved her or whatever. So I'm assuming his wife was. I'm not sure if she was a half Seminole, half black. I'm not sure what she was. But yeah, it was his wife, and they enslaved her, and he went to get his wife back. Oh, for sure enough. And then after that, um, um, black Seminoles, the Seminoles had been pushed further west, and then but the black Seminoles, they said, forget this, we don't trust anybody, and we gonna go down to Mako, and that's where they went. That's how that went down. Now, if y'all want to read this story, okay, y'all want to read this story, and that's again that goes back to yes, black Seminoles have African ancestry. Yes, you do have. I'm doing this whole series on yes, you do have African ancestry. Okay, um, when it comes down to black Indians, yes, they have African ancestry because either they are half or they were adopted into it. Okay, with no indigenous blood. Okay, because that's how the indigenous chiefs and stuff handled that. They didn't mind adopting peoples. Okay, so they okay no, we gonna adopt them. We gonna give them land. They us now, and that's just period. That was period. And they fought. They would fight like a mug. Once they said you them, you them. Okay, that's how it was back then. Okay, you just them. Okay, so so yeah, so that is another part of my series when it comes to the Black Seminoles. So if you want to know how the Black Seminoles came to be, that's how they came to be. Go back and read the whole story. Yeah, point blank period. That's the story of the Seminoles and how they fought to not make the black enslaved return to slavery, and how they fought against this is one of the first battles of the indigenous like this against the United States government when it came to fugitive slaves. Okay, that was one of the first ones. That's kind of dope too. It's kind of dope. I mean, it's not in history books, I don't believe, but it's kind of dope to read about it in the newspapers because it's documented right there. Boom. And here is the clip. There you go. Go read it. Have fun.